Hello, and welcome to another process video with the Dragon Story. For these process videos is when I go back in time and look at some of my old drawings, some of my old process videos, and just talk about my experience and thoughts as I went through this. So you can kind of see how I evolved to become the artist I am now. And so this drawing was an early attempt. Like I mentioned before, I I wanted to capture personalities in my dragons. I wanted someone to look at it and feel a certain emotion and get different sorts of feelings with different sort of characters. And so this was a quick sketch where I kind of wanted to capture a dragon that I don't know, like was like sly or smirky or kind of you know I don't know, sort of an interesting personality, someone that you would want to meet or talk to, or maybe you wouldn't because you're afraid they're gonna like make fun of you, or they're trying to sell you something, like a car salesman or something. So I did this drawing, kind of based off of a little bit snake and lizard. Once again, I wasn't specifically looking at uh, reference, just going off of reference from things I've drawn in the past, animals and reptiles. Um, but I think it probably would have helped if I looked at reference here. But and so I'm still kind of figuring out how I want my dragons to look. I liked capturing the look in its eye. Um, and once again, I lean towards mammal style eyes, just because they're a little bit more human, more warm, easier to connect with. Um, it's interesting looking back at how small, like I tend to make the scales so much larger now. But you can see I started exploring with the scale growth along the neck as well as the side of the neck. Even though there's some lines not quite at like lining up. I gotta see if that works. And so I was still using the pencil brush at this time. Oh, let me comment on these because I drew these scales along the jaw line. Just we've all seen dragons that have all these scales or horns coming off the jaw, or they have that like fin. It's like an extra little wing. Um, and so I drew these scales growing from the jawline, but it always bothers me because those scales would just get in the way every time it moves his neck around. They would always be bending or folding or poking into its neck. I mean, right now, I don't think my anatomy was laid out very well because they're going perfectly straight back, but I mean, look at the neck curving around. So, obviously, a lot to learn. Um, you'll also notice that it took a while before I really discovered the cheekbone horn, because I feel like the cheekbone horn was kind of the answer. The cheekbone horn allowed me to create some of that extra shape and style and horn on the dragon face without it coming from the jaw and stabbing into the neck. Because even looking at this now, he is kind of missing a good cheekbone. Um, with these early drawings, I struggled to really capture a lot of uh, good values because I was using the pencil brush. I was just going in there and putting texture after texture after texture, just layering it over and over and over again to try and get the value that I wanted. Which isn't a bad thing. It takes a ton of time, but it was fun trying to capture the smile, and doing these early drawings helped me ask myself questions with, like, what's the anatomy like for talking dragons? Okay, because reptiles don't have lips. I need to figure out how to draw those lips and how to draw those facial muscles. So I mean, I've got the smile in there, but I don't think the proper facial structure's in there if I want to be critical. But again, a lot of this was exploring. This was a lot of it was me learning. Um, I still drew those jaw scales. I mean, it adds an interesting design, but it doesn't fit. It just bothers me. But it was a good exploration. This was also early on when I still struggled knowing how to fill in. Like, I understood some of the outline work, like, where the horns are and the eyes are, but I didn't fully understand in my brain, like, what the facial structure looked like. And so, I mean, if I'm really critical, these drawings are still kind of flat, but that's because I know I was learning so much along the way. Because I'd put things down like the necklines and jaw lines and the mouth, but I didn't know exactly how to fill everything in. And so, if we get really critical looking at this, there's a certain flatness to it. It doesn't have the 3 dimension that I wish it did, but that's because I'm learning. And the best way to learn is to just draw. Draw things that look bad, draw things that don't make sense, make mistakes. That's how we learn. And so I do not regret, and that's kind of one of the reasons I want to show these videos, is so I can even point out everything that I did wrong, but it all built me into the artist that I am today. Um, yeah, similar with my other pencil drawings, getting the texture in there just takes forever. Texture and value. And so doing this, it's tough because you step back and look and it's still gray. And so you see how I went back and just started adding in some thicker shadows right here, um, to hopefully capture in the values, because it was just so gray and flat before. Um, but it definitely taught me a lot about how to approach the drawings from the beginning versus trying to go back and fix it. Yeah, see, you can see I'm trying to fix the structure of the head there. Like, I don't quite get it, but anyway, this was a very important drawing for me. Learned a lot. Had fun capturing the facial expression. Definitely not perfect by any means, but learned a lot. So thanks again for watching, and be sure to check out some of my other process videos and how-to videos.